Something, did they use a brass pipe? I guess so. I mean, that shouldn't have broken, right, brass pipe? Of course, brass expands, copper expands and contracts a bit, unlike steel. Anyway. Yeah, I'm gonna say it all contracts.
Okay, well. Let's see. Oh. I know. Don't worry.
This is
Don't worry.
old. Maybe that was on your computer.
Yeah, thank you. I can't get Rory and Matt in here. So I'm trying to-
If you go back by the door, alongside of Ray, you should be able to get the whole table at an angle.
Just be careful because you got that cord on you guys.
I shouldn't sit
Yeah.
out front because I hate that.
Don't want you to end up stuck.
No, how are you? There's enough cord to do what you're doing. Yeah.
That's perfect.
What up, Madeline?
Yes.
Wait, you got your windows down?
No.
You got any
It's
mics?
at 7 o'clock and it's not raining.
Nice to see you. I got some doctors.
Okay, yeah.
Beautiful.
That's back. That's back.
I'll make you spot it on the board.
Yeah. For the recording.
I want to try and wait for Warren because
That's fine.
They took a little.
we'll get there fast.
You know, back to where we went from when that was moved to Census is over. Which is one area, it's one driveway. That sounds off like 80%. In one area. And so what are they gonna do? It's national.
Well, these wouldn't come out of the plastic. There's a woman in a black chair. She flies by.
You know what? She knows when Stevie sat there, she come around. And
I got out the road and like she was out there the other day as well and she flew by. And you know, there's 5 kids right there. So. as long as you-
Hi, Drew. Can you hear us?
Oh, we got more complaints than just
Okay.
you.
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay, the problem, Drew, is that I can't get you on the display on the TV.
Okay.
I'm not quite sure why, but the computer's not talking to the TV tonight.
Okay.
So I guess what I should do is try to, I'm not sure how, because I can't make you heard by the group is the problem.
Oh.
Jared, do you want me to try something on that? Because it looks like it might be the same.
What?
Do you want me to try and get it on there?
I don't want you to mess up what I've got. That's all.
Okay, because I was just gonna go to the settings and see if we can get the feed there, because sometimes that works in the school. You could just restart the TV.
Restart the
Sometimes that
TV,
works.
just
Yeah,
turn it
just
off.
turn it off and then turn it back on.
Okay,
Because if it's the mirror cast like we use at the school, then you would just go to your computer settings.
Someone should know.
How are you? Doing all right. How are you?
A year of virtual school, man. It'll teach you some stuff.
here, Michael, can you, yeah. I can't get it to go on.
I mean, the remote might need new batteries too here. Is there a power button back there, Madeline?
We have,
There is on the right in the
a
back.
lot of work to do on.
And then if you go on your computer here, down to the bottom, where you have the menu, and then go to
No.
settings,
There you go, that's it.
and then system, and then go to display. And then scroll down a little bit. Is it a wireless display or wired?
And this is what it's gonna do. It's gonna roll and roll and
Okay.
roll. It doesn't run.
Because hopefully restarting it might help. And I'll just actually go cycle through the inputs.
The input should be
HDMI one, yep. All right. And then if it doesn't, then I guess because that would just be.
I've been sitting here
Okay.
since 6:30 trying to get it to go.
30 years ago.
And I don't know what changed.
That sometimes happens with mine at the school and I just have to restart it.
But I
You might just have to roll it
restarted
out.
it. Yeah. All right, thank you. So Drew, we have to figure out how to do this.
Okay, is there something I can do?
Why don't you give your, well, nobody's gonna be able to hear your report, but we can hear it in the recording, and that's important.
Okay.
And so when the time comes, maybe I'll have figured out how to, I don't
Okay,
know.
whatever you want me to do.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order, and we'll stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Could we have approval of the minutes and the town clerk report?
Approval of the October 18th workshop minutes, the October 21st town board minutes, and the acceptance of the October town clerk's report.
I move that we accept those minutes in that report.
All in favor? Aye. Approval of the bills?
General bills number 18834 through 18854. Highway bills 18855 through 18879. Water bills number 3076 through 3078.
I move that we approve those bills.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, supervisor statement. On Monday night, we held the last public meeting regarding the sewer feasibility study, where our engineers presented the final results. It was well attended, and the district map and presentation, as well as a film of the meeting by Stan Hudson, are all up on our website. Go look at this very innovative idea for bringing a system to Pine Plains that will be basically maintained by the businesses in the business district and allow those businesses to thrive and survive. Every year at this time, since I've been in office, I've tried to thank the key people who have made the year particularly successful in Pine Plains. 2020 was truly the year of the pandemic, and the fact that we got through it at all is a testament to all these people. Caveat, I always forget to mention someone really important. That said, the following people made a huge difference this year in Pine Plains. First and foremost, I want to thank our pharmacist, Nasser Mahmoud, and his crew of retired nurses and medical personnel for vaccinating more than 80% of the entire town. Thank you, my fellow board members, whose wisdom drove the changes in zoning that will help sustain homeowners and businesses alike. The girls' town rec softball 10 and under team and coaches whose trip to state finals brought us all together in support of something bigger than ourselves. Bobby Lee Shermkaus, who knows everything about every system the town handles and keeps it all running any hour of any day. The entire new town park committee for designing the park and implementing that design so well. Tim Jones for donating the fountain, which is such an awesome tribute to the farms in our area. Madeline Chase for being a ray of sunshine in the town clerk's office. Warren Raplansky and the entire zoning review committee, a number of whom were town employees who gave their time freely for guiding the really life-changing zoning revisions we've been able to bring about this year. Ray Jerkowski for going above and beyond the call of duty and everything he does for the town. All the volunteers and leaders of both the Willow Roots Food Pantry and the Food Pantry at the Methodist Church for continuing to feed needy people in town. Who could not have predicted how many people there would be? Thank you, John Hughes, and all our officers for your dedication to your work here, for writing the new police policy with me and going to training sessions constantly without complaint, and for never missing a day during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when they were the only employees of the town to remain face-to-face with the public. Thank you, assessors, for working in a leaky, moldy trailer and doing such an exceptional job that other towns envy us. Thank you, Alice Nuccio, for not only keeping the town running, hosting our seniors events and luncheons, but also sewing the patches on police uniforms and providing a sympathetic and warm embrace to everyone who walks into town hall. You are truly the face of Pine Plains. Thank you, Justice Dave Humiston, for figuring out an incredible system for court hearings, which kept everyone healthy and moved things along at the same time. Thank you, Safi Humiston, for accompanying Dave so elegantly and giving him some class. Ditto, Leo Hughes. I can't leave you out, although you are not so elegant. Just seeing you both always makes me so happy. Thank you, Trish and Sean Devine, for bringing your kids in on Thursdays. They also bring joy to town hall and inspired the candy jar. Thank you, volunteers of the planning board who had a record year of difficult projects to oversee and did it thoroughly and professionally. Thank you, Aaron Moore and Kyle Courtwright, engineers from Ty and Bond, who came to town, met people, understood the economic challenges here, and came up with a plan for a wastewater system that is small and innovative and doable without hurting cash-strapped citizens. Thank you, Stan Herson, for filming their important presentation and for decades of incredible footage of our town. Thank you, Highway Department, for being so safety conscious that the town was awarded 2 substantial refunds by our insurance carriers. Beth Coons at the Bank of Millbrook and Bianca Martin and Sarah Murphy at Salisbury Bank for helping me with all the banking issues we have to deal with. Their vigilance over our accounts did not waver during the pandemic. Neither did the dedication of all our farmers and business owners to finding ways to stay open despite everything possible that could have gone wrong. Thank you, Vinnie Parliament, for being so dedicated to recycling. And thank you to whomever I forgot to thank. I will catch up with you in December. All of you have gone beyond to keep Pine Plains going in the midst of an historic pandemic, and it is a better place because of all of you. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Are we allowed to clap?
I know I left somebody out. Public comment. I have 2 public comments that I received.
I have one.
Okay, let me start with mine and then go to you. Okay. So this is a great letter from Hunter Atkinson, who is a student. My name is Hunter Atkinson. I'm a resident of Pine Plains, a senior in Stissing Mountain Senior High School, taking Mr. Schoonmaker's participation in government class. And one of the requirements for the class is to write a letter to an elected official about a problem or situation in the town and to get your opinion back about it and what you might do to solve or help. I am concerned about how our town beach is kept, the sand and the dock, and the shortage of lifeguard supplies at the town rec facility. Our town beach used to be well-equipped and always looked good. I'm a lifeguard at the rec, and people have come up to me and said how our beach used to look beautiful. For example, one woman came up to me one day and said, "What happened to all the sand? There used to be so much sand, and it used to be so much more of a beach in the past." I explained to her that as time goes on, the water and rain washes away the sand and brings it into the lake. I also told her that in order to help this, we drop loads of sand onto the beach and then rake it all out. Another thing is that as a lifeguard, we are told to jump out of the stand and get into the water as fast as possible. But right now, if we jumped off the stand, we would break our legs because there is no sand and we would be landing on concrete. Another thing I believe is a problem is the dock. Whenever spring rolls around and it is time to put the dock in, Mr. Cooper calls the staff down to the rec and we try to get the dock in. This is a tedious and long task because there's no good way to do it. I was wondering if the board or committee had any ideas that would help the staff and Mr. Cooper put the dock in easier. Also for the dock, we are missing bolts to attach the ladder onto the dock so kids can climb up without hurting themselves and putting them at risk. Lastly, the shortage in lifeguard supplies. One thing the lifeguards have always needed are lifeguard rescue buoys because ours are out of date and breaking. Some of them are missing straps and are starting to crack because of how long we've had them. I believe that if the town dropped 2 more loads of sand, then we would have a better looking beach and people would be a lot happier. And we wouldn't be putting the lifeguards at risk of breaking anything when they need to save someone. For the dock, all we need to do is figure out which bolts to get for the ladder of the dock. Then when spring comes around, staff will be able to put the ladder on the dock. A solution for the rescue buoys is that we just order 4 buoys because they're not insanely expensive. Also, we don't need more than 4 because there are not many lifeguards employed and only 2 to 3 work there a day. So they could all have their own. That was Hunter's letter. And then Vicky Sirocco is asking that the bulletin board in the town park be relocated somewhere. And we could discuss that at some point, maybe. She was thinking the municipal parking lot or and there's a triangle of land over, oh, I know it, 8 North Main, somewhere around there. Those are my 2.
Only thing that came to me was parking it for the parade of lights, of trying to block off the center of town from like the insurance agency to the corner, and then 199 out past like to the tower, because people park right there along the streets and then everybody tries to get in front of the cars as well. So it's a little bit of a,
Oh, so we could put a no parking?
yeah, no parking. I believe we'll discuss it. I mentioned it to Heather and John. We all think it's
That
feasible.
makes sense, makes a lot of sense.
You know, if there's a special case of like a handicap or, you know, like somebody really can't, but there's also other places on the parade route that they can park. But
Oh,
that's like where the congestion is. And
Mhm.
so
Okay. Great.
she wanted to remain anonymous.
Are there any other public comments? All right. Thank you. Warren. You're on.
I think the only thing we have to discuss publicly tonight is the resolution that I prepared for you. This would be the resolution going to section 12A of the town law for the initial step in the formation of a sewer district. Town. There are 2 ways of proceeding with the formation of district. One would be under Article 12 of the town law. The other is under Article 12A of the town law. Article, and I discussed this with Aaron Moore today. If we proceeded now under Article 12, that requires a petition filed by the certain percentage of the residents, property owners within the town before we could then authorize the preparation of a map plan and report. I had discussions with her. I recommended that we proceed under Article 12A of the 12 law, which I'm sure you
Don't have memorized.
you know nothing about.
Right.
And it's quite complicated, but that's the usual method that most municipalities choose for moving forward with a formation of a sewer district. And it simplifies the process for initiating the map plan and report, which we could do now. If we do it now pursuant to the resolution that I passed, it would be subject to, the resolution is subject to a permissive referendum. And all that means is that there could be a petition challenging that within a period of 30 days after you pass the resolution. It's unlikely that that would happen, but that's what the law requires, unfortunately.
This resolution here requires a permissive referendum?
Yes, but understand what a permissive referendum doesn't mean. It's not a mandatory referendum. In other words, it doesn't go up for a vote, don't schedule for a vote. The resolution doesn't take effect until 30 days have passed from tonight, the date that you passed the resolution. If no petition is filed calling for a referendum on that within the period of 30 days, then it becomes effective. And we move forward with the preparation of the map plan and report by Erin. I discussed it with her today, we could possibly, if we wanted to change to the petition method later on, we could do that. That's not a problem. But in order to move forward with the preparation of the map plan and report, which I understand is fully paid for by our
Yes,
grant.
and there is a time limit on the grant.
So it seems to me, after discussions with Erin, that the most expeditious and best way to move is to pass the resolution. And then we wait a period of 30 days. If no petition is filed, it's effective. And Tide and Bond would then move forward with preparation of the map plan report. We're not going to do the seeker review. That will be a separate process that's performed in conjunction with the district formation. And the district formation follows the preparation of the map plan report. There's at some point, I'll give you a detailed outline of how it proceeds. It's pretty complicated. And at that time, we would do the environmental review in conjunction with the actual formation of the district, which would be subject to a vote.
So we obviously had a workshop meeting Monday where we presented Erin's feasibility study.
I understand that.
She was kind to note that there's so many steps we can move forward with it, yet don't commit us to moving forward with the actual build out of the
No,
district.
you are not committed by passing the resolution for the map plan and report. The only thing you're committed to do is to have Tide and Bond prepare the map plan and report. You can decide not to move forward, and that often happens after the map plan and report is formulated, and then the costs of the district are really analyzed, because it really will be up to the property owners within the district to determine whether they want to move forward with this based upon what the costs are going to be for the bonding and the operation and maintenance.
I would add too, if I might, that being only so few days past our public presentation, I don't think it's impossible, following what I was surprised by, some strong interest from people outside of our commercial district who were adjacent to it, who had residences and for whatever reason enjoyed the idea. Maybe you
My wife,
you guys were even considered it, right? But a number of people were interested. Before we commit to drawing that map, I think it's worth maybe canvassing the neighborhoods again to, maybe that's part of Erin's process as well. And I hope we're not, by committing to this, stopping that from happening. I don't think.
No, I don't think we are.
Yeah, I think I heard you say that there might be other people that are interested in the expansion of the district.
Yes.
That can occur later on.
Okay.
That often happens. Sometimes it's expanded, sometimes it's reduced. So that's not an impossible thing to do to add. And you might find when we look at the analysis of the costs, which will have to be approved by the state controller's office, and of course by the property owners within the district, we might decide that the expansion of the district could result in a cost saving.
Yeah.
Maybe the larger the district, if it's not a huge district, might make it more affordable. So those are all options, but this is the first step. Doesn't commit you to do anything, and you've got the money for it. So it's not a problem. It comes, according to the resolution, comes out of the general fund, but you get reimbursed.
Yes.
From the grant for that. So it's not going to cost the taxpayers anything.
Nope.
Given all of that, I certainly feel comfortable moving.
I do
We
too.
vote to adopt this resolution.
I'll second it. You move, I'll second it.
We'd have to do
We
a
have to do a roll.
roll call.
Supervisor Cloud,
Aye.
Councilman Bartles,
Aye.
Councilman Chase,
Aye.
Councilwoman Jones,
Aye.
Councilman Zick.
Aye.
And we need to post a copy of the resolution indicating that it's subject to permissive referendum on our bulletin board and our official website. I don't think we have to publish it. I have to double check, but I'll let you know if it needs to be published. But regardless, it starts, the 30-day period starts tonight.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And just to make sure everybody knows that yes, the grant will cover the entire figure. So, but the grant, they just sent me the grant contract. It started in August of 21. So we have a year to use it. Just so you guys know. All right.
I have a
Highway.
couple of things, just, that's the only thing I have, but I would like to discuss a litigation issue with you, an executive session, and the property acquisition issue, executive session.
Right, okay. Thank you. Highway Department?
Just want to let you know that I have submitted the CHIPS reimbursement request in the amount of $192,464.93. That does leave us, or should leave us, a rollover of about $10,464.38. It puts us right in line for the expected payment on or around December 15th from the state. Granted, everything is on schedule. Just to report what the crew has been doing, they continue to ready the fleet for snow removal operations. They've also been very busy performing ditch maintenance, including clearing of fallen leaves to prevent drainage issues. I would like to mention, we are experiencing a lot of property owners that are blowing their yards into our ditches. So if we could maybe put something on the website, I'll put something on Facebook. It creates drainage issues, and they're doing it a lot after we've already been through, which is a problem. So I just want to mention that. I've been working with the town police and the property manager up on Hicks Hill Road with regards to a dumping issue that's come to light. So the town police have been notified of that, and we are working on that. Also made a report to our police that we recently sustained some more sign vandalism. We had 3 signs purposely backed over that are located on Sherwood Road. There were tire tracks there. They just lined themselves up and backed right over them. We were able to reuse the posts. We did have to put a couple of starters in, but the signs were left behind there. However, on Woods Drive, the sign, the post, everything disappeared. So that one was stolen. So I had to order another one for there. And again, our police have been made aware of that. We have taken delivery of the broom attachment for our loader, and we look forward to putting that to use during our spring cleanup. We did hold the price on that. I had a bit of an issue with the timing and the delivery, and they were going to increase that by, I believe it was the 5%, but they did work through it and they held the price on that one. With regards to the truck, I just wanted to report to you all that I'm still working with the dealer. I did actually, after I sent out my report to you, receive a tentative quote for the body and the plow equipment, just so that you know one portion of this equation. And we're looking at about, and again, this is today's price. Anything can change when this truck is built in probably 2 years. That alone is $123,103. That does not include cab and chassis. I'm still waiting for the price on that. And I will get that to you all together once I have everything, so we can see if we want to move forward with that and how to do so. The only other thing that I wanted to report to you is that I have presented a voucher for your signature this month for the use of my personal vehicle. Unfortunately, the work truck that I use for the town is experiencing some significant engine issues. It is under warranty right now, and they've gone through everything. They're thinking that it is something to do with the sensors in the exhaust manifold, which there is a shortage of those parts nationally. So it's down. They have put in what I believe is called a COPUS case, which states that this is a fleet vehicle. It needs to be returned back as soon as possible. And they're canvassing all the 4 dealers in the nation to see who has them. We're requiring 3 of them, 3 sensors. So it looks like I'm going to be using my vehicle for a while. I'll have to figure out winter-wise what we're doing with that, because we do only have 2 pickup trucks in the fleet, and both of those will be performing snow removal operations. So somehow we'll figure it out, but I just wanted to make you aware of that as well. The only other thing that I have is the Hicks Hill Slope Stabilization Project. Warren, have you received that easement from the property owner on Hicks Hill for the slope stabilization?
No.
Okay.
I actually wrote an email to the property manager today, sorry.
Okay.
And suggested that we have a meeting
Mhm.
with Ray and myself,
Mhm.
property manager, and somebody else, so that we could really explain. I think it might be a misunderstanding
Right.
as to the impact on their property of that improvement.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that we can have them,
Yeah,
the
so-
meeting. Are you in dire straits in terms of getting that done?
Well, every time we get to spring with the water runoff and whatnot, it's just it's a area of concern, definitely. And I believe that bid went out.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yeah. So I sent, the email went out. You could maybe loose them along from your end.
I've been
you know.
pushing.
And then Ray and I could probably set up a Zoom meeting and go over everything with them. I think it just might be a misunderstanding of the impact.
Okay, and Matt, did you want to discuss anything? You want me to discuss right now with the?
Yeah, well,
traffic?
between the three of us, well, Heather, well, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I talked to you about, we don't have a huge supply of barrels and cones, but we certainly will offer up anything that you need to help block that. We usually dropped a few cones in the town park before the park, just so that they put it, I believe the police put it in the center of the road. But in terms of blocking off the traffic, you're certainly welcome to whatever we have.
Yeah, I figure we'll do it like Saturday in the morning or something.
Okay,
Great, thank
that's all
you.
I have.
Okay. Any questions? All right, on to,
Oh, as if people still dump it,
Nothing.
tires.
Um,
Down there.
I haven't noticed anything. I haven't received any complaints and I haven't noticed anything. So I'm going to say no from what I'm aware of right now.
Drew, why don't I read the code enforcement officer report?
That'll be fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. And then I'll relay anything you have to say to the group. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
There were 9 building permits issued this month. And total permits to date were 79. Total new homes year to date, 14. Certificates of occupancy issued, 5. Certificates of occupancy searches, 7, and site inspections, 17. So total for the year to date, 79. Just to compare it, our 2020, there were 67. So that's a huge jump for us. Anything else you want me to relay?
No, that's fine. Thank you.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
So that's kind of huge for us. Police department, John?
Yeah, our court hours were 12, our patrol was 154.5, discovery was 6, admin was 16, investigation was 14, training was 72, details were 37, vehicle or other were 6. We had 18 complaints, 4 fire and EMS, 1 auto accident, 20 traffic warnings, 11 UTTs issued, and 1 arrest. We had 33 scheduled shifts, of which 36 were covered, so we're in the plus column there. And myself, Officer Camber, attended deceased Sheriff Butch Anderson's funeral. Myself, Officer Cameron and Parada provided traffic control for FFA parade. Myself, Sergeant Bellevue, received training at Dutchess Community College for police leadership in challenging times. Myself, Sergeant Bellevue, and Officer Cameron attended the 2-day school at Dutchess County Sheriff's Office for domestic violence / rape training.
John, can you just tell us, like, I don't know, 1 or 2 items around leadership in challenging times? What did they address?
Most of it was addressing which we don't have a problem in, and it's millennials. It's like, why, you know, you tell somebody to do something, they say why. So before you used to just tell them, because I said so. Now they want you to explain. Same thing with
Right.
traffic stops. A lot of times you'll stop somebody now, license registration, proof of insurance, why you stopping me?
Right.
So it used to be a standoff before, so now you tell them, you were doing 55 and a 35. Now would you give me your license? So it's more or less like that, how to be a little bit more subtle in your approach to policing.
Right.
I just want to say that I think it's absolutely terrific that our police department goes for these different trainings.
I went 8 hours today.
I really commend you. I think it's in everyone's wonderful interest. Thank you.
All right, Ray, water engineer.
So the average daily flow remained consistent at 55,000 gallons per day within the system. That's actually stabilized since the water leak was repaired, which I'll have a little bit further in my report. 4 meter registers were replaced and 1 water meter was rebuilt and replaced in a residence. 4 utility markouts were performed this past month. Both chlorinators pumps were cleaned and rebuilt. The annual maintenance on the generator was completed and tested, so that's ready to go for the winter season. The heater's also been put on up at the water tank as well to assist with the telemetry system. During the past month, water samples were taken from each one of the 2 wells that serve the water system. The samples were for principal and secondary organic contaminants. So each sample tested a total of 66 potential compounds, and all of them came in below the detectable limit. So, which has been pretty consistent. We've been very fortunate as far as the water quality that we have. So, so those tests will not need to be done for another 3 years. So we do have a waiver for that. In addition, while going out doing a leak detection survey, a leak was detected at the Bank of Millbrook on Saturday, November 6th, and it came to the surface on Monday, November 8th. And that leak was determined to be on the building side of the shutoff. So that means that it's actually the property owner's responsibility to fix that. That's been a problematic water service. We've been there at least 2 times before. The bank was aware of it. They hired Mike George, and actually they've gone ahead and installed a new water service in copper from the curb shut off all the way into the building. So knock on wood, we hope that that'll be the last time that we're at that particular location.
Great, thank you.
I see you also had something about the sign for Route 1.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had studied the one, remember that we were gonna look down 82 in front of, we were gonna set that one back.
I provided the sketch. Was it a modification from that previous sketch that I had submitted?
I think the last where we left it was there was gonna just be an addition of that moving backwards.
Okay. My apologies. So I'll take a look at my
Okay.
notes from, it was one of the past meetings, correct?
Right.
Passed down. My apologies. So I'll take a look at that and then
Okay,
I'll maybe touch base with you tomorrow when I get the sketch in front of me.
that's great.
And we'll get it changed.
There's no rush because the next step would be just to, I think we have to contact the state.
Correct,
Correct.
as well as the county as well, because
Okay.
again, North Main is the county road, so we have to contact the
Okay.
county as well.
All right, and that's a really long process because we've already got speed reductions submitted that we're waiting to hear about.
But this should be quicker.
There should be, you think so?
Yeah, this process is,
Oh, okay.
is quicker. I mean,
But-
again, DOT does take a long time.
Yeah.
Speed reductions are a much longer process.
Okay.
than signs.
Great.
We had started this process quite a while ago.
Yes.
But are we looking at moving 2 signs, 1 sign?
Well,
Or
Ray had a sketch of where to move the one that's
Mm.
on 199 in front of the bank.
yeah, moving that back to the crosswalk.
Yeah.
Actually, a little further, yeah.
Okay, good. And then the other one was on Route 82 South,
Correct,
back in front of the old library.
Correct.
Oh, that's the one that I,
That's-
okay, my
Okay.
apologies.
yeah,
And that should address Matt's issue a little bit
Correct.
about the parking that we have in that area, but still people are still gonna park there. It's just gonna.
Is there any way we could get a stop in the pedestrians have the right of way and a crosswalk sign?
What's that?
If we're talking about signs right now, one that's been bothering me lately walking around town is we don't have pedestrians have the right of way and a crosswalk. You know what I mean? Like other towns do, and technically like you should.
Mhm.
I think if we're talking about signs, maybe we
Okay.
should,
Which one are you?
199 and right by the pharmacy And, you know, when
But
we get that.
they don't typically put them in a light controlled.
No, they put it by
crosswalk,
all
I thought.
crosswalks, I thought.
No, I don't think
Not
so.
normally, not where there's a light,
Right.
not where there's a light.
Right.
If we put a crosswalk for the library, we're gonna need one.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
right.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way, the SAM grant that we won in 2017, I believe,
Right.
that was before I got into office.
For the crosswalk.
We have been, yes, the crosswalk in front of the library and also the repair of the sidewalk around the pharmacy. I have been trying to get this grant to come through. There was a snafu around ownership of all the pieces that had to do with something at the state level. I finally reached out to Dee Dee Barrett, who connected me to a guy at the state level. And I got a call from Sue Serino's office that indeed it was going to go through. I haven't seen it, but this call was a week ago.
Yes.
Okay, so a week ago, Lydia called from Sue Serino's office to say we were indeed going to get the grant and we should look for it. So fingers crossed that we'll get this.
Well, even we've been there on Monday night, you know, it was dark and a bunch of people were like crossing the road and, you know, like it'd be nice to have a crosswalk there.
We have
but-
wanted a crosswalk there.
We-
for-
Yeah, no, I gotcha,
And we've been waiting for this grant to come through, which we already won, but then they thought, I don't know what their problem was, but anyway, looks like it's moving.
So that being said, we'll submit for a new permit with DOT because
This is third or fourth.
renewal, yeah, we had received the permit many years ago and just kept renewing it.
But we didn't have anybody bid on it, right? When we put it out for bid.
I think it was Mr. Koch that got that.
No,
Was it?
that was a long time ago, and that's why
Hmm.
getting the SAM grant would be beneficial because there
Right.
would be numerous locations, and so hopefully
Right, we were gonna tie it in with the
Yeah, nobody
sidewalk.
wanted to do that. little
Just that one
piece.
little
They-
piece,
That
yeah.
wasn't interesting.
Correct. Speaking of bids, we did receive the, just a single bid for the drainage improvements at the highway garage that came in just over $180,000 dollars. In speaking to two contractors, the one that bid on the actual one that provided a bid, but then another contractor that had picked up the bid plans, started putting his numbers together and decided not to bid on it. Both of them had indicated that escalation of cost due to supply chain issues with the drain piping, believe it or not, really drove up the cost overall. So the recommendation is to just reject the bid, table it, and let's see what happens in the spring. We're seeing that with a lot of projects, unfortunately, where, again, because of supply chain issues.
How much more is that than what we had anticipated?
That was about $40,000 higher than I first anticipated.
So do we have to do we have to have a motion on that?
You just have a motion to reject the bid.
I would move that we reject that bid and wait for additional time to see if there's a better bid.
Matt seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely.
Recreation Department.
All right, so baseball, softball, we've got some volunteers that are gonna be doing some work on our Little League field to make it extend our baseline 10 feet for 11 to 12-year-old youth baseball. So we'll get dual use out of that field. So that's gonna be happening next week or so. And then I was hoping to ask for permission because it's over my $500 limit. We received a grant for $7,200 to buy two all-terrain wheelchairs for an adaptive hiking program. The two chairs combined is $9,413. So that means I would have to cover $1,943 from my budget. I have that money in my budget and I'd like to, go through that purchase.
Which line is that in your budget?
That's in my contractual expense line.
Okay.
I make a motion that we allow Michael to buy.
Okay, where would they be stored?
They'll be stored at the beach house. So, because that's our primary storage area between there and the concession stand.
And the anticipated usage for these vehicles is, could you describe what? that is?
So what my plan is to kind of promote hiking and outdoor activity trail usage. An individual actually who just moved to Ankrum, and uses our park area and stuff, had asked about accessible items and stuff like that. So pretty much it would be used for anyone who needs, as needed, to be able to do like the Thompson Pond hike. Some of the capabilities on it with assistance, which through an adaptive hiking program I would be willing to provide, would even be able to do like an adaptive hike up the tower. Because once you get through that first little steep part with assistance, the trail is actually pretty easy to traverse, and these chairs would allow that. These chairs are used for Spartan races. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're like obstacle course races, and adapted athletes are able to use these to do that.
Yeah, there's so much wetland around Thompson Pond. I doubt unless it's.
Yeah, but you could go out to the first look
You
at
could
the
go,
kiosk.
yeah.
on
You
the
could go a
left.
number of different.
Well,
I
and
mean,
that's,
FDR
Yeah.
used to go right up to the place on the left before you got there, that little
Uh-huh.
perch.
Yes,
And-
yes, that's very nice.
and also they did some work to the trail, so it's actually easier to access some of the tougher stuff.
Yeah, there's a bridge now.
And like I
Yeah,
said,
that's new, yeah.
I'd be willing to facilitate that
It's great.
for individuals who want to do that. So, and this is kind of a tool that allows me to do that. And like I said, I have it left over in my budget in terms of available money, and we got the $7,200 to pay for most of it.
I would make that motion. To buy the whole train, wheelchairs.
Can I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then just to address the public comments, Mr. Atkinson is a great employee and the type we want to keep around here. He volunteers and helps with the ice rink. I'll speak with our beach director and we'll make a plan to ensure everything is properly equipped and discuss additional sand purchases that go above that. He's pretty accurate. After a few rainstorms, you almost have to go into the lake to dig the sand back out to the chairs, which is a pretty labor intensive process. The bolts were purchased this summer. For the dock, you need a special cleat and the right gauge bolt. We purchased those. They didn't come in until the end of the beach season. So all of the above are being worked on or will be addressed.
You know, as regards to dock, and I know that this is another hope, but the Department of Health always tests the beach in the wrong place. According to, is it the DEC guy that came out, or the other Department of Health guy?
Well, we've had a bunch of people
Yeah.
down there, and the thing is they've got a yardstick with a cup on it.
Yeah.
And they don't even go to
No.
any level to get
And
the
they're
actual
supposed to
sample.
go out.
And, yeah,
So in my dream world, the dock actually starts at the beach and goes out, because what they want is to be able to walk out
yeah.
a dock and test the water where it should be tested, which is more in the middle.
That's
And-
Michael's dream world too.
Yeah.
He wants two, so we can
Yeah.
have swimming.
And-
Well, that would be
just
cool.
going back and forth.
And the issue with that is obviously cost.
Right.
With my new committee, we can also look at grant opportunities for that as well. That would bring down the cost.
Learn, play, create is still got money.
Yeah, so that might actually be an awesome thing. I've also been really focused on the fundraising for the playground. Been talking with my committee on that as well. One of our
Plans for
members.
it yet? Like
What's that?
actual plans yet? Or is it just still like in?
So what our plan is with the cost of the equipment that it is, we want to fundraise to that.
Do
And then-
you have like a physical, like a plan on paper of what the playground looks like?
I have the what it would look like footprint, but not the exact site plan specifications for where we want it to go exactly. But in terms of the fundraising aspect, our goal is to reach the amount of money it costs for the equipment, the delivery and installation. And then if we don't reach that goal, to reassess the goal so we can still take advantage of the grant. One of our fundraiser members said that, and they broke down the math and population, is if we got if we convinced everybody in our school district to somehow give us $20, we could easily cover all of it excluding the grant. And if we got all of our residents to give $100, it would be enough to cover it without the grant. But we have the grant, and so our goal is to first do a couple things to get small members of the community. We've also got ideas to sell different size pavers that would surround the playground, much similar to Stanfordville's library. I don't know if anyone has been there, but they have like the big bricks and the little bricks. So
I love
we've got
that
a lot of
idea.
ideas we're looking at. We also got approval from, I'm drawing a blank on his name, but the individual that took the picture of the tower with the moon.
Oh, Julian Diamond.
Yes, Julian Diamond gave us the licensing for that image to use on apparel, so we can do that for fundraising
cool.
for it. So we're gonna try and do a pre-sale.
I'm a medium.
Okay, well, we're first looking at doing some hats, similar to the ones that Globe Hill has. They do like the knockoff Patagonia kind of deal, but we want to get that logo on a hat, as well as a t-shirt, and we're gonna do a pre-sale for that. We hope to have everything squared away in December. Supply chain issues make ordering stuff kind of difficult, so that fundraiser probably won't get rolling until, January, February, but that's kind of the stuff we're working on. And then also, we know that a lot of people have spoken to me and said that they're interested in contributing more than, just that. So we're working on that, and we're very optimistic on what the future holds.
So what you need in order
I
to,
need of like a drawing and what you want, like what you think's gonna be there to give it to a few people so they.
I
can see it
have
for-
printouts and stuff from Ag Day that has that whole layout.
Okay, I need, if you
Yes.
could send that to me.
Yep. And we also have it on our rec Facebook page, the whole layout. I believe it's probably been in an attachment that was sent a while back to you guys, but I can get to that.
and I just want to mention that 4 of us got the ball rolling, and we already have our $100 in.
Perfect.
And I challenge everyone to get theirs in.
Yeah.
Okay. Great, thanks, Michael.
Yep.
I don't have a report from the CAC or animal control. So I will go right into finalizing the budget. Now, there was
It wasn't
a,
animal
It
control.
wasn't.
Oh, there
animal
was?
control, yes.
oh, I didn't get it in my box.
I thought it came on.
Oh, all right. Sorry about that. Okay.
dogs.
2 calls received. And office patrol meeting and training hours were 15. 28 miles traveled, 2 complaints. Total missing and found dogs reported 2, total dogs seized 2. That's it. Thanks. All right. As regards to CAC, we're still looking for more members and hoping that it becomes a much more active group. So if anybody is science oriented or loves the environment, this is a way to, be part of something really important for the town. We are now a official clean energy community, so we can get grants for projects. And this year we got $5,000 just for becoming a clean energy community, which we were allowed to do anything with. I just want to remind people about that. All right, finalizing the 2022 budget. All right, I had to make some changes because between I goofed Ray up because of the hydrant fees and where they were placed. So there is no change in any of what we're taxing or anything like that, but I had to redo the numbers. So I re-added all the numbers up when I fixed everything that I had messed up for Ray. And this is the final that we will take to the county tomorrow. So it is already in at the comptroller. And the change, you'll see the change in fund balance appropriation on the first page. That's much lower. It's 1,136,835. It's not really ideal, but. And then the other change will just be in some of the water department figures. But I think we're good now. And we did not exceed the tax cap, and we are under what we could tax for by $33,000.
I'd make a motion that we accept the final budget.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
That's resolution authorizing the exceeding the tax.
No,
Local law, we didn't.
we didn't have to because I didn't
rescind that.
plan on
Okay.
doing that. I look up the tax cap and just keep it under. Sewer feasibility study update. The only thing I wanted to mention was that Aaron sent me the presentation and the map, the proposed map. And those two things and Stan Herson's film of the meeting are all on the website, right on the front page, easily accessible to everyone. So you can relive the great experience of the meeting and look at the presentation. It's very clear and concise and
Yeah.
really exciting.
That might, I mean, maybe not, but that might be some people's first time hearing.
It
about
might be, that's, yeah,
But they were.
whoever didn't get to go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so with what Aaron said, we could come up with a price that is okay with every household. And until we hit that price, we're still allowed to receive grants to keep the cost going down or no?
not for
Remember how she
maintenance.
said that, like, if we, until we hit that price, like a low.
That's,
seems like we
that's,
go really
that's,
hard at it.
that's infrastructure. It's
Okay.
really only infrastructure. You're not gonna get grants. You're not gonna get grants for the maintenance of the.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, not the maintenance, okay.
Okay,
But-
so you see, it's the bonding figure that has the flexibility in it. Okay, and that's what you could try to get down to, that affordability
Yes.
place that they spoke about.
Okay.
So hopefully that would be, we could, try for fully funding it with grants. We already have $245,000 of infrastructure money in the ARPA, right?
4 million to go.
So only 4 million, yeah.
Well,
We can do it.
one of the big comments that I appreciated the other night was, Don, when you guys were working on this so many years ago, it sounded like there was the chance to have secured 86% of the non-operation and maintenance related funding through that.
That was
previous
old
infrastructure
federal
yeah.
grant, so I have no idea.
But now they've got this whole new package.
So are those roughly?
No, but they're used, back in the seventies.
This is a time where there might
Agreed.
be these kinds of grants available, and we should really position ourselves, if at all possible.
Now, who is it that has to approve this? In other words, either the state or I believe it's the state has to approve this. And they have certain formula that, per household that they will.
Correct, right, so the map plan.
Approve.
Right, the map plan report gets submitted to the state comptroller's office.
Mhm.
They have to review and approve it. Impact is going to be for what they classify as the average residential.
Mhm.
And there are thresholds that they provide.
They change every year.
Every year.
But we will be doing that based upon not the grant money, but on what the anticipated cost is, correct?
That is, yes, that's the way it needs to be
So-
submitted with the map plan report.
Right.
It has to be
But we're going.
anticipated figures, not necessarily from taking into consideration the grant monies.
With this,
We're super high. And the chances that we're going to get rejected right on,
Yeah, or we could get voted vote it down, and you can reduce the cost. There are ways of massaging the
Right, but I mean,
approval so that the property owners understand that when grant monies come in, it might even be less than what was projected, so.
but are they going to stop us right off the bat because we don't have grant monies?
Well, you have to meet that threshold for that,
Yeah,
it
right.
requires the state controller approval.
Mhm.
You can't go forward unless you get the state controller approval.
And then, so what I mean is if we were to submit it now without knowing how much money we were going to get, there's a good chance it would be rejected.
There's a chance it could be.
And then you have to resubmit once you,
No, Aaron,
But would
Aaron,
they
what
give
happens-
us the price that we have to
normally-
hit?
What normally would take place is when you're submitting for the map plan report, generally speaking, at the same time, you're actually also submitting it up to EFC, Environmental Facilities Corporation.
Mhm.
They're the financial end, as far as the grant lending, if you would, with the DEC. They're the arm of the DEC that
Mhm.
handles all of the water and wastewater funding. If you are above that threshold that the state has developed,
Mhm.
that actually assists you with potentially getting more grant money because it becomes what's known as a financial hardship. So normally, once you submit for the map plan report up to the state comptroller's office, you're actually submitting to the EFC to get onto their funding list to see where you score, and then to see where you score as far as potential for hardship as well.
Try to
So,
bring the cost down.
and again,
Right.
that way you're kind of working in concert to
Mhm.
see where you stand and what the possibilities of bringing that overall cost down to the users.
And that's why we also wrote the grant this year, the WQIP grant that Aaron wrote.
Mhm.
That's why we wrote it this year. We didn't really think we would get it. But if you're not in the queue,
Mm.
you just have to keep trying, and they want to see that you keep trying.
These are favorable times
Yeah.
to get grants, so.
With this long
If you're ever gonna
season
do it now.
in
it's-
front
now
of
is
us,
the time.
we might want to consider having a grant writer spending a few dollars at some point in the coming few years if this stays out there for that purpose. Something to think about.
All right. New business.
Can I just add one for new business? I would like to do the webinar for associations of town, it's January. And I believe Madeline, Mr. Ambrose and Mr. Walsh would like to do it as well. So I don't know if you guys are.
I move to approve those programs for those individuals.
Do you know how much it is?
$75 a person.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
And they're online. We're not.
Right, I know.
they're
So
not-
it's not going to Albany. Yeah. We need a second.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
I,
Aye. I'm just gonna put that.
And Mr. Ambrose is on the fence, right, because of weather issues?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I really highly recommend the course. It's invaluable.
Yeah, if I can't, if we've got snow coming in, I can't take it, because I'll be on plow truck, so.
Okay,
That's
all
the
right.
only thing that affects me taking it.
I'll take good notes.
The Association of Towns also is gonna be doing their.
The February,
Meeting and their training session for new.
because.
but that's what this is that they're talking about. It's
Yeah.
online this
That's-
year.
But that, okay.
Yeah.
But
It's,
because it's virtual, maybe there's a way that, by paying the fee, that it
The
can be made
recording,
available at a later time at someone's convenience. We need to find that out, maybe, because I think it's a very.
Madeline's on
thing to do.
well, actually, Madeline, you need to work in conjunction with Alice because of the credit card. Because you've got to sign up
Well,
with
I
it.
could just contact them and ask them if we do have like some issues with people not able to attend, if it'll be
Okay.
available for them to watch at a later date.
Okay,
And usually it is, very often it is.
It's just a PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah.
You're going through.
And if we're gonna pay for it, I think they'd want the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. So in new business, we need to, Michael requested that the $5,000 that we were going to use for the fireworks this year be put into the recreation capital account for the playground, correct?
Yep.
So we need to approve that transfer.
I make a motion to transfer $5,000 to the recreation capital account.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. I wasn't sure if I had updated people on the census that came in. It's finally in, the 2020 census. It's not a pretty picture. So I am not sure what happened, and I think that we've been discussing this in mayors and supervisors group with the county executive as to what went right or wrong. For us, we lost quite a number of people, around 200, which for this town, for a tiny town, is a lot. So we were docked. Let me find the percentage. It's a 10% reduction in what we get for sales tax. So for us, the most recent sales tax was it would have been about 26,000. It ended up being 24,000, which is a real shame. And I'm hoping that that's not because people didn't fill out their census.
Is that because people sold their homes and the purchasers, it was their second home? Maybe?
If you remember, there's two things. If you remember when this was done, it was right at the height of the pandemic. It was bad planning. I mean, but this is what it was. And so between that and the fact that the workers for the census have to go to homes that have a PO box. If you have a PO box, you don't get a census. If you have a real street address, you get a census. If you're on an online person, you might know to go on. I mean, we talked about this endlessly in this here. We had John Penny here twice to talk about it. It was in my newsletter. It was in the newspaper. But you could go online and do your census. But if you had a PO box and you weren't tech savvy, it might have just passed you by. So that's a huge problem with how they do it, I think. But the workers were tasked with going up to the homes to take the census. And if somebody wasn't there, that's an issue. It also was done right before kind of the COVID panic buying spree, which I don't, there's hardly any houses for sale in town because of that. Suddenly everything was snapped up. And I don't know if those people are permanent residents or, as you said, like, fleeing more congested areas. But that's the bad news about the census for us. There were some towns that increased, very few. Let's see, East Fishkill went up. And Fishkill went up. Now they have a lot of jobs down there with the Amazon opening up. LaGrange went up. Pleasant Valley went up. Poughkeepsie went up 1%. Interestingly, Red Hook went down 12%, and Amenia went down 15%. Wappingers was up 4%. Unionvale was down 6%. Stanford was down almost 4%. So it's all over the place, but that's a reality. So it's very meaningful to the town. It means we lose money in sales tax. So we'll see. The next sales tax coming in will be, I believe, February. We get that middle fourth quarter check. I'm hoping it's big, but the mortgage tax has kind of compensated for this. But all right, ARPA update. There's no ARPA update. It remains that it gets kind of stricter and stricter, not more and more. Michael Torsha was wrong when he told us we could use it for the police car. And now it's basically infrastructure. So we have to be really careful, but we have to spend it by 2024. And I was just wondering if we should approve the creation of a bicentennial committee. Because the bicentennial is almost a year away. And I think it could take a year to kind of pull it all together. So I was wondering what you guys thought of that.
It doesn't hurt to have people write letters in, right? See if we get enough people to form a committee.
Well, I think I have a couple people interested. But it would take some, legwork to get,
What sort of a celebration were they thinking?
I don't know, I think we should have a year-long party. Definitely the Historical Society wants to have a lot of activities. I don't know the exact day of the incorporation, so we have to kind of identify that and decide if that's going to be somewhere close to that. I went to the Milan Bicentennial. They just did one day and it was really neat. It was the people from the county came up and they had a lot of the historical documents that they actually gave back to the town. They have a history room in their town hall with all their documents. And what Brad Kendall had this giant map of Milan that was just gorgeous that he'd had in his archives. I was trying to, and I'm thinking about this more, but interview elders in town, have youngers interview elders to get documentation of history here. So that was one project. And it's up for grabs, everything else, we should do it big.
Well, maybe we'll need to double our fireworks budget.
That's the way to get money. When you're talking about that one, the thing at the Fishing Center with the photographing the people in there and the memories.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Thing, people were very impressed with the way that was done.
Yeah.
And they said, I remember that, give them a whole
Yeah.
new group in there.
Yeah,
Well done.
that'd be great.
It's a start.
Yeah, so I think it's just time to rally people kind of into thinking about this.
You might ask some of these students to do research in the area.
I contacted Mr. Schoonmaker's class.
Yeah.
They're 12th graders, their concentration is shot, but maybe we can find some.
Tell them to get them into college.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing they need.
Yeah. So far I have an interview set up for John Bodel. Ben Prentice is going to do that because he learned all about cows from John. And there are a couple other people whose names have been submitted that would be willing to talk to us, but we have to find kids to do it. So that's just one idea, but there's lots out there. I think if we had a committee.
Nine Partners Historic Society has a fantastic collection.
Yeah. And Diane is
Diane would be the one I would.
She's on
suggest.
top of it.
Okay.
She doesn't want to run it.
Well, that's,
Yeah.
but as long as she's
Yep.
part of it.
She definitely wants to be a part of it and get. Right.
I know a guy who grew up going to a one-room schoolhouse.
Here?
Unbelievable.
Not in Pine Plains.
Oh.
Can we ask people if they have any interest in writing a letter?
Sure, yeah, write an email, or, yeah, let
No,
town hall know.
No, I think it's so cool.
So that's an ad hoc committee. I don't know if we have to vote on that or not, but.
Yeah,
Let's see
I don't
who
think
writes.
so.
I think we should just indicate that people who are interested should let us know, and we're really interested in their ideas
Okay.
and their participation, and
Okay.
we want to get
Good
going
time
on
to
it.
start community day, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, it would work out really well. I mean, we've got a lot of people now as we've made some changes to recreation that want to do different programs and stuff. And there's a lot of people out there that we could definitely reach out to.
Stick with the hoop, right?
A hoop and stick for everyone. Yes, Jacksons, marbles.
I think that's it for content, other than going into an executive session to discuss legal matters and personnel issues.
We need to invite our assessors in for the.
And, okay,
Tax sociology.
I just wanted to mention one thing. I attended a virtual session this past weekend put on by the Dutchess County Department of Planning with the Cornell Cooperative, with the Dutchess Conservancy. And this was about using maps for local conservation planning. And they really have a terrific map system. A lot of us are familiar with the parcel access, but the environmental maps are really extraordinary. And this was a free program and it's available, and I have the links to it. If anybody's interested in that, I'd be happy to provide the links to the program. I was very impressed with the program.
And they show you how to use their map sets
Yes,
to analyze, you
Yes,
know.
and
the
they show you
landscape.
what's there, and there's just an incredible amount of information available. It's overwhelming.
wow.
Do you think of it large scale planning or for like our planning department and house siting for residents or people coming in?
Well, I mean, any piece of real estate, you can see exactly what's on it in terms of the environmental issues involved. It's very, very good. And I really didn't know about it, which is why I know parcel access and I use it a lot, but this is.
This is their GIS system that they have.
Well, it's a second system. I just lost my papers.
I think you have.
We
that.
use that a lot.
Yeah.
On parcel access, we
But,
check wetlands, we
but I
check.
mean, you also, they have a GIS system.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was never available to the public before, but it was available to the assessors.
Yeah.
Because the public version of the parcel access is 3 to 6 months behind.
This is called the Hudson Valley Natural Resource Mapper.
Oh,
Are you familiar with that? That's what interested me in terms of this program.
No, but Jim has already written it down.
DC, New York government lands, and I have a lot of information there.
Okay.
And they've made it available, so I'm happy to be contacted to get it out to people.
Right.
Then you can look at the program, which is provided free.
All right, I need a motion to go into executive session.
Making any decisions?
Pardon?
Does Madeline have to stay?
Are we making any decisions?
No, nothing that would require.
Okay.
I make a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion to come out of executive session.
Whoa. And then I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
I missed one of these meetings and I was watching it online and it went to hell at that point. They didn't know what to do without me being here.
Brian, I sent you regarding the transition.
Just email.
Backed off. Oh, okay. So I will fully expect. You'll forget it.
Frank, don't sit down. It's still in your chair. Frank, I stole your chair.
It's now significant sites or sites. And then it will sometimes connect you.
Are we staying, are we gonna try to stay here?